I remember the day that I decided to pursue a career in health. I was unsure of what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that I really enjoyed healthcare. I knew that I wanted to become involved in healthcare, but I can't stand the sight of blood, and I really don't like to be touching sick patients. So I wanted to do something where I felt like I could be valued, I could be involved, but I didn't actually have to have patient care, any contact. So clinical coding fit in nicely with that. Coding is the abstraction of diseases from medical records. That means reading medical records, patients' histories, interpreting the diseases, and putting alphanumeric code into a computer for statistical purposes and research.
I was probably about 20, 21 when I decided that I would go and be a nurse. I wanted to do something that helped people. I got interested in paediatrics and children and families and how healthcare influenced children and families. And somewhere along the line got swung over into midwifery. There certainly are some pretty gross parts to my job, but the good stuff outweighs the bad. Funnest part of my job is probably cuddling new babies.
It really is interesting sort of dealing with the human body. I find it a fascinating organism. I certainly enjoy working with people. It's very satisfying to be able to do things for people and make them better. I think some people have an impression of emergency medicine that's all sort of blood and guts and gore and depression. But we treat everything from not just car accidents and heart attacks and asthma issues, but through to simple things like suturing simple cuts, taking a fishbone out of someone's throat, or a tiny speck of dust out of someone's eye that's been annoying them for days. Some of those things are quick and easy, and they're not depressing, and they're not gory, but they can really provide someone with a lot of relief, and so it's quite satisfying.
It doesn't really matter whether you did well or you struggled in your HSE. You can definitely still contribute to healthcare and you can get involved, whether it's through TAFE courses or whether you study at university. There are options of being able to do multiple careers in health, depending on what suits you.
There are so many areas of medicine that suit different personality types, suit different capabilities. Some people have excellent dexterity and make good surgeons, and other people are not very good along those lines, and there are plenty of other career paths that they can choose. Some people are more sociable and maybe like to work in emergency medicine. Some may be more introverted and prefer radiology, where you basically interpret x-rays a lot of the day and don't have a lot of social interaction necessarily with patients, etc. So I think that the breadth of medicine means that there are fields of it that can accommodate many different types of people with different skills, different personalities.
Employers in the healthcare sector, I think, are looking for more a compassionate person rather than necessarily an academic genius as such. Common sense, compassion, and being an all-round person is just as important as getting, fantastic grades.
All of us started out, finishing high school and being students, and we didn't have the skills that we possess now. And there's something that you collect over time. So no one expects you to be skillful, to be able to do things, before you embark on a career in medicine. They're all skills that you develop along the way.
At the end of high school, I was trolloping through the UAC book, sort of scratching my head and not knowing what course to pick. I decided on health information management, studied it for 3 years, not really knowing what I was getting myself into, but coming out into an environment where there is a really high demand for that qualification and for clinical coders, and realising that the opportunities that were waiting for me were endless.
We have specific Aboriginal identified positions where there's like officers at sexual health, security officers, we put those on, nursing, cleaners, admin role where we've had trainees that come and work with us for 12 months and they progress in different admin roles. One bloke years ago was a gardener. Now he's got his degree and he's got a permanent job. He loves it. He's got, 2 young kids, but now he knows he's got a mortgage he can pay off and he's set for life.
Healthcare is fairly recession-proof and fairly sort of finance-proof, and so that certainly is an important element. I think variety and interest, certainly my time in healthcare has been very interesting and very varied, particularly working in emergency medicine.
There's always educational opportunities for people in health, so it's so varied. You can go on and specialise in different areas, you can learn new skills, there's always new research, there's always new things being updated, so you're continually growing as a professional.
The most challenging part of the job is that it can change all the time. You can be just taking plain x-rays or taking CT scans, MRI scans, ultrasound. We also go to theatre. where you use the x-rays up there, especially for orthopaedic work. You know, if people break their bones or what have you, and they get rods and screws put in. So yeah, it's definitely, there's a varied workload.
For me, going into healthcare administration opened up a whole new world that I didn't even know about, with fantastic people that actually make this place tick.
Often the people who maybe get the accolades are those who are on the front line, you know, the doctors and nursing, particularly, for example, in emergency or intensive care, but the place wouldn't revolve or work without lots of other people involved.
The people in the health service that aren't necessarily on the front line, like your doctors and nurses, for example, radiographers, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, speech therapists, and there is, you know, quite a huge team of people.
Beyond that, all the non-clinical roles, people in administration, people in finance, controlling the budgets, rostering clerks were very important. And I guess then hospitality also, the people who provide all the meals and deliver the meals to patients, all of those are important roles, and so it's a big operation.
It is quite a social career. There's always people around, there's always people in a similar position to you. And the program that I work in at the moment is a group. There's 10 of us and we all work really closely together. So the benefits of that is always having support, always having someone that gets it, that gets what you do, especially shift work.
I came to the coast about 20 years ago at the start of my medical career, and basically just love the Central Coast in terms of what's available in terms of the beach lifestyle. It has benefits over Sydney in terms of, you know, crowds and traffic, etc., and sort of you know, a small commute time to work.
There's so many things that you can do on the weekend, whether it be going to the beach or fishing. And you've just got a huge variety of, you know, it's very much an outdoor life up here.
I grew up here, so for me, working here is about working in my local community and it's about working at home. I did some travel earlier in my career and it's so much nicer to work at your local hospital at home.
I feel like I'm a valued part of the community. I feel like I'm contributing to something that is actually worthwhile. I feel like there's a whole lot of opportunities that still lie ahead of me here, and I feel like I have a lot of places to go and a lot of places to grow within the New South Wales healthcare system.
There's more than one way into the profession. It's not just, you know, straight from school into university. You know, you can do volunteer work in the hospital, and that really does go a long way into, you know, possibly getting a position at university. Showing a little bit of knowledge about what is involved, you know, in a hospital or in the healthcare services will really put you in good stead.
My advice to people who study medicine would be, don't stream yourself too early. Don't decide that you want to do something too early, but sort of get out and experience the world and work in a couple of different areas. A lot of us, before we did our specialty training, went and locumed in different things, worked around the country, did general practice, tried different things before we made a particular decision.
I'd say just do it, go for it and do it. It's a brilliant career, it's really versatile, there's lots of variety. Study's pretty hard, but it's well worth it in the end.